How many of you, when you got married, somebody said, "We're so glad you're joining our family or the family"? How many of you heard that? Okay? That was wrong. That was wrong. Here's what I tell my kids. I've officiated the wedding of my 3 oldest kids that are married so far. The same thing I say at all the weddings is this: he's not joining her family. She's not joining his family. They are starting a new family. A new family. A family that doesn't allow newly married couples with their children to form their own family. It's like there is only one family and everybody lives in the family system, and then everyone who is born, next generation into the family, gets added to the family system. You know what that is? Pressure. And so this is what a completely enmeshed family looks like. You've got great-grandparents, and then grandparents, and then parents, and then children, and then grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And then the assumption is that whoever is the oldest gets to be in charge. That they get to tell you where you're going to live, and if you're going to go to church, and what church you go to, and how many kids you have, and where your kids go to school. And they want to sort of, in effect, operate as head of household and just give commands and demands and orders and say, this is what you need to do. Now, if you don't agree with those generations that came before you and the imposition they're trying to make on your family, then what they do, they will grab the other family members and they will form an alliance to pressure you to get in line because you're part of our family and that's how our family does it. Has anyone ever seen this? We see this all the time, right? It's Thanksgiving. Like, hey, you need to come to town and you need to stay at our house. You need to bring your spouse and your kids. It's Thanksgiving. We're all getting together. You're like, we don't want to do that. That's what our family does. You're part of our family. No, we have our family. You have your family. We're going to talk about this. And you are now my extended family, and my priority is my immediate family. And sometimes the way this works in a dysfunctional family system, they will start to manipulate or threaten. Well, you better do what we say or we're going to cut you out of the family. You need to do what we say or we're going to cut you out of the inheritance. You need to do what we say or we're going to cut you out of the family business. And what it is, it's multi-generational control. And if you marry into that family system, let's say this is your wife's extended family, you hate your life. You hate your life. You're like, I got a bunch of people that I did not marry that are all telling me what to do. And they're saying that I have to abide by this sort of mafia concept of family. And at that point, what happens is if you're married into that, your spouse is literally in a hostage negotiation between you and their extended family. And let's say this is your wife, she's carrying that anxiety and stress. Some family systems are completely enmeshed. What happens when you get married, your priorities change. So let me flip it from the other side. So I'm a dad. I love my kids with all my heart. I'm blessed to have 5 wonderful, godly kids. It's one of the great blessings of my life. But let's say for my daughter. So my oldest daughter, she's married and she's got a baby boy. So before she was married and had a baby boy, who was the main man, the number one guy, first in line in my daughter's life? It was me. Then she got married. Guess what? I got demoted to second position. When I walked her down the aisle and handed her to him, I literally was putting him in my place as the priority. Now she's got a baby boy. Guess what happened? I got another demotion. I'm now in 3rd place. And as a father, true or false, this is a little tough. Because you're like, man, I love daddy dates. I love taking her to school. I love, Christmas events with her and going out. And I love tucking her in at night. And I love seeing her after school. And now she doesn't come to my house after school and I don't get to tuck her in. I mean, that'd be really weird for her husband and me. So as a dad, I've got to realize that the position I was in was to prepare her to become a wife and then a mother. And then I need to accept my new position. And my joy can't be found in how close I am to her, but how healthy her family is. Is her marriage good? Is their child good? Do they love each other? Are they doing good? My joy is not being the main man in her life, but being the man who was there to love and protect her until she got her husband and her child. And to honor and respect that. My 3 sons, they are, I know this will shock you, they're very strong personalities with a lot of opinions. Obviously, they got that from their mother, so pray for me. We're dealing with this at my house. If I told my sons, hey, I'm in charge and you need to do what I tell you, and when you get married, I'm going to tell you what to do with your marriage, and when you have children, I'm going to tell you what to do with your children, and if I'm still around and you have grandchildren and they're my great-grandchildren, I'm going to be telling you what to do, and the family's going to be exerting a lot of pressure because this is how we do it. My sons would not stand for that. My sons would be forced to create strong boundaries with me or actually cease having a relationship with me altogether. It's called cutoff. It's something we'll get into in a moment. Let me share another one with you. So what happens when a couple gets married? We're still dealing with the leave and cleave. There's the wife extended family, the husband's extended family, and then there's a newly married new family. So like my middle son rather, he just got married a few months ago to a wonderful gal. She's our kids ministry coordinator. Now, what happens is she had her extended family and he had his extended family. And what we need to do is now honor the fact that they're a new family. And if we don't do that, what happens is then the husband's side of the family is pulling, hey, you guys need to come over for Christmas, you need to come over for Thanksgiving, we need to spend the holidays with us, we need to go on vacation, family dinner Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we need to do everything together, we need to see you for your birthday. His side is pulling. Guess what? If her side is pulling, no, we want to see you for Christmas, we want to see you for Thanksgiving, we want to do vacation with you, we want to celebrate the birthday with you, we want to do life with you, we want to hang out with you. What does that do to that young couple? It potentially divides them. Because she's like, well, I don't want my family to be, abandoned by me. He's like, well, I don't want my family to be abandoned by me. And so it creates this pulling tension on this young couple, and it causes strain. Sometimes this is because the family system is broken. For example, I'll never forget, I always verbal process this one, but I'll never forget a newly married couple I was dealing with some years ago. Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the birthdays, vacations. Her family just expected that she would be there because she was always there before she was married. So they're like, well, just because you get married doesn't mean anything changes. Well, yeah, everything changes. So for a few years, he's like, okay, I'll go to there for Christmas and Thanksgiving and vacations and holidays and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Then he finally realized my father-in-law and mother-in-law don't have a healthy, loving, joyful marriage. And the reason that they always have to have the kids around is because they need the kids to give them something in common. They actually don't like being together, so they're never alone. So what he said was, honey, let's spend some of the holidays with them, but I want to have our own traditions. What do we want to do for Christmas? What do we want to do for Thanksgiving? Your parents go on vacation. Sometimes I don't want to go on vacation with your parents. I just want to get a break. And she told him, she said, we can't do that. And he said, why? She said, because I can't abandon my family. And I told her, I said, sweetheart, he's your family, they're your extended family. She said, but my parents don't have a good marriage and they both love me. And if I'm not there, I think they're going to get divorced. I was like, so your job is to be the savior of your parents' marriage. And you can't leave your mother and father and cleave to your husband because you need to rescue and save their marriage. She's like, yeah, that's right. So the whole pull is out of a broken marriage and system.
Hey, howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for viewing the clip. And if you'd like the entire sermon, we've got it ready to go.